In 2025, the world is once again witnessing a global debate surrounding Israel's alleged war crimes in the ongoing Israel-Palestine conflict. New accusations have emerged from international bodies, human rights organizations and global media outlets, bringing Israel's military tactics and political strategies under intense scrutiny. In this comprehensive analysis, we explore the shocking allegations of war crimes against Israel, detailed evidence, and the complex global reactions shaping the international legal and diplomatic response. Understanding the background, Israel-Palestine conflict 2025. The Israel-Palestine conflict, ongoing since the mid-20th century, has escalated dramatically in 2025. Recent military operations in Gaza, the West Bank and surrounding areas have led to thousands of civilian casualties, sparking widespread humanitarian concerns. Israel claims its actions are in response to continuous rocket attacks and security threats posed by Hamas and other militant groups. However, multiple international observers argue that Israel's military actions have breached international humanitarian law. What are the alleged war crimes committed by Israel? Several independent organizations and international bodies have accused Israel of committing war crimes, citing the following actions. 1. Targeting civilian infrastructure. Reports from Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch indicate that Israeli airstrikes have targeted schools, hospitals, refugee camps, and residential buildings in Gaza and other Palestinian territories. 2. Indiscriminate bombardment. Multiple videos and satellite images reveal that Israeli forces allegedly conducted indiscriminate shelling of densely populated areas, violating protocols that mandate distinguishing between military and civilian targets. 3. Collective punishment. Israel's blockade of Gaza, restrictions on essential supplies, and cutting off electricity and water have been labeled as acts of collective punishment, prohibited under the Geneva Conventions. 4. Use of illegal weapons. Allegations also point to Israel's use of white phosphorus bombs in civilian areas, a weapon banned under international law when used against civilian populations. 5. Forced displacement and illegal settlements. Increased settlement activities in the West Bank and forced evictions of Palestinian families continue to be a major point of contention. These actions are considered illegal under UN resolutions and classified as potential war crimes. International responses and global reactions. United Nations (UN). In early 2025, the UN Human Rights Council (UNHRC) launched an official investigation into Israel's military activities. A UN report released in March 2025 documented evidence suggesting possible breaches of the Fourth Geneva Convention. International Criminal Court (ICC). The ICC has reopened its investigation into alleged war crimes committed by both Israeli forces and Palestinian militant groups. The court is focusing on Israeli military operations between 2023 and 2025. Global protests and boycotts. Massive protests have erupted in cities like London, Paris, New York, and Cape Town, where activists demand sanctions against Israel. The Boycott, Divestment and Sanctions (BDS) movement has gained renewed momentum, urging companies and governments to cut ties with Israeli businesses. Reactions from world governments. United States. The U.S. government remains a close ally of Israel but has called for restraint and independent investigations into the reported incidents. European Union, EU. The EU has condemned civilian casualties and demanded accountability from Israel while urging Hamas to halt rocket attacks. Arab League. Countries like Egypt, Jordan, and Qatar have condemned Israel's military actions, calling them flagrant violations of human rights. Russia and China. Both nations have criticized Israel's actions, accusing it of escalating violence and obstructing peace talks. Israel's official response to war crimes allegations. Israel's government strongly denies all accusations of war crimes. Officials argue that the military only targets legitimate threats posed by terrorist organizations. Civilian casualties are regrettable but unavoidable in asymmetrical warfare. Hamas and other groups use civilians as human shields, making precise operations extremely difficult. The blockade on Gaza is necessary for Israel's national security. Israel has also launched its internal investigations into certain incidents but claims that international reports are biased and politically motivated. Impact on international relations. The 2025 war crimes allegations have strained Israel's relationships with multiple countries. Trade agreements, diplomatic collaborations, and defense deals are being reconsidered. Several nations have recalled ambassadors from Tel Aviv as a form of protest. The controversy also complicates peace negotiations. International mediators, including the United Nations, EU, and regional players, struggle to bring both sides to a sustainable ceasefire agreement. Media coverage and social media reactions. Global media outlets like BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, and Reuters are providing extensive coverage of the situation. Graphic images of bombed-out schools and injured children have gone viral on platforms like Twitter, X, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, intensifying global outrage. Social media has played a crucial role in shaping public opinion, with hashtags like #IsraelWarCrimes, #FreePalestine2025, and #StopTheKilling trending worldwide. Legal and humanitarian implications. If the International Criminal Court finds Israel guilty of war crimes, it could lead to prosecution of military and political leaders, international sanctions, isolation from global diplomatic and financial systems. Humanitarian organizations fear that prolonged violence and lack of accountability will worsen the crisis, leading to further displacement, poverty, and loss of life in Palestinian territories. Conclusion: the path forward. As of mid-2025, the debate over Israel's alleged war crimes remains unresolved. What is clear is that the human cost of the conflict continues to rise, and global calls for justice and accountability are louder than ever. The international community must prioritize transparent investigations, fair legal processes, and meaningful dialogue to prevent further escalation. The situation underscores the urgent need for a peaceful, two-state solution and stronger enforcement of international humanitarian law. The world watches closely as the next chapters of this decades-long conflict unfold.